10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Yes, people, how we doing? 9:33, 9:34. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I start around about the same time every single day, roughly 60 seconds gap. How are you all doing? Sam here, live on United People's TV, here to talk transfers. As I do every single day at 9:33 with you in the comments, I interact to try and answer as many of your questions as I possibly can. And today, of course, we're going to be speaking about everything that's going on. Jong Eriksen to start, but Erik Ten Hag demands more. That's the main conversation talking point that we're going to be running through today. I'm going to run through the latest from Gary Jacobs and Paul Hurst from the Times on Christian Eriksen and what's going on there, from Simon Stone from the BBC on Christian Eriksen there. I'm going to be running through, there's not really, I'll be honest, there's not much of an update today on Frenkie de Jong from yesterday, but we will talk about that as we always do. How are you all doing? I mean, I know exactly how you're all doing. You're all feeling a little bit pissed off, I suppose. But let me go down here and see who's in the comments. Stuart, I can see you down there. Good morning to you. Anthony, Nilanjan, good morning as well. And I can see you there. T and Josh, as always. Stu Olusula, good to see you there as well. Vicky, I can see you there. Sanka, good morning to you. Arjun, Rego, Peter. Hey, full member gang down here this morning. How are you all doing? Charlie, big up to you, my friend. Thank you very much for leaving that comment saying, look, love the podcast this morning. A nice early listener. I enjoyed that podcast yesterday. It was me and the lads. And we had a real kind of in-depth conversation about Richard Arnold, about everything that went on there, about the videos being leaked. I thought it was quite an interesting chat. So I'm just taking something off my foot. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, it was a really interesting chat, actually. Kind of informal. It's the tone of the podcast. If you haven't already listened to the podcast, genuinely, where have you been? Also, I very much encourage you to do so. I say this every time I mention it, but I'm proud of the podcast. I think it's something, we're doing a podcast properly. We're doing it once a week, audio only, not putting it out anywhere else, not just like churning out content. It's a pure podcast. I enjoy it. I like having the chats. So if you haven't already, let me leave the link in the description for you here. The latest episode went live this morning, episode 8. Make sure you can follow it on Spotify, on Google, on Apple, on everywhere. Go and listen to it. It's a good one. One thing I would say before we get started here is I can see in the comments tons of you talking about Anthony. Tons of you talking about Sam. Sam Anthony, the deal is nearly done. With 40 million for Anthony. Like, where's it being reported? Oh, the Sun. Where our Sport Bible. It's these sorts of things that really fuel frustration. Why the fuck are you listening to Neil Custis, people? It's because you want it to be true, but then you use that to get frustrated about. And you wonder why you get frustrated. You do it to yourself. Come on, people. Use a little bit of common sense here, a little bit of knowledge. What the hell is Neil Custis in the Sun going to know before Ornstein, before anybody else? Understand which of these sources you want to trust, which of these sources you want to get pissed off about. Because if you really want to get pissed off about something that Neil Custis has said that we have done and we've not done it yet, you're wasting your goddamn time. So no, I won't really be talking about an Anthony nearly done deal because it's not nearly done. All right? Jesus, people. You do it to yourself sometimes, seriously. And as I said, I think that's something that definitely happens with Manchester United. Not more than... Actually, I probably do say more than most clubs. Papers suck in on that need, that desire for information, and they spew a lot of shit. And then you get caught up in it. That's why it's always important for you to have those sources that you know you can trust. When David Ornstein speaks, invariably it's the truth. Fabrizio Romano kind of diminished himself somewhat by talking so much, but hey, that's up to you. But I'm not going to be running with any sort of Anthony nearly done deal because that is just not true. All right. That's what I want to say. Eugene, I know you do. Look, right. My dad's called Eugene, by the way. Look at that. Fun fact. Actually, no, my dad's also called Sam. Imagine that. Love you, Dad, but lazy bastard calling me the same name to him. Anyway, good dad. Took him out for a steak on Sunday. Look at that. What a Father's Day. I know we all want to sign in. We all want to sign in Eugene. Of course we do. And it will come. And I'm going to run through it in this video, sort of trying to explain why I've got that confidence still that it will happen. That we're just in the eye of the storm, and we're in the ultimate period of frustration now with everything that's going on. Geez, you even see West Ham spending 30 million on a centre back that I've never heard of, and they're on the verge of signing Borgia from Southampton for 30 million. West Ham is spending 60 million. What's going on? Big up Geordie Red. Let me know where you're watching from, mate. I remember going to see what was it? I think we won 3-0. United Newcastle. Me and a mate drove the whole way up there. We had tickets in the home end, had to sit underneath the away end. And I think that was a game where Tom Cleverley tried to cross it, but scored. I think we won 3-0. Oh, look, I think Sigmund, are you being Santa Claus again in the comments here? I can see it looks like you're handing out. So let me have a look. Mate, what a guy. Sigmund handing out 5 United People's TV memberships. Big up to Sigmund, man. He keeps doing that, keeps helping the community grow. And it's wicked. I love seeing the generosity in the community. So thank you very much, Sigmund, for doing that. And everybody who got those 5 memberships, you can join the Telegram community now. Go to the community tab and join. I mean, anybody can join for free anyway, but as a member, you get access to a separate special group. But look, let's run into the news, eh? As I said, look, investing. So maybe you got one there because I can't remember seeing a membership next to your name. Like, seriously, people, if you want to get pissed off about the Sun, you're wrong. Don't do it to yourself. Do not do it to yourself, right? When was the last time they reported anything that was factual? My word. Let me go down here. And Esteban, I see you there this morning, man, my friend. Who would you prefer, Sam? Anthony or Rafinha? I'll tell you what, right? Now, we had a conversation about this on the podcast last night, a bit randomly. But I said, look, if you're really going to be going for, because Alex brought up Raheem Sterling. He was like, how are United not in for Raheem Sterling at 30 million? Manchester based already, apparently United fan as a kid. Why would you not go in for Raheem Sterling? We had a little bit of a conversation about it. And I said, look, if we're going to go in for like 50, 60 million, apparently we've already got a done deal with Anthony. So what's the point in having a conversation? But given that we haven't, we'll have one. Anthony, if we're going to go in for like 40, 50, 60 million euros for Anthony, would you not? How can you not have a conversation about Raheem Sterling? Which I thought was an interesting point in the conversation. Or you're saying that they wouldn't sell to us? Harsh reality check here for United fans. They would. Just like they're going to be selling to Chelsea. Just like, who is it? They're going to be selling Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal. City are that far ahead. City are that confident that they probably would sell Raheem Sterling to Manchester United. That's a bit of a reality check there. Let me go down here and see what you're saying in the comments. And what you're saying, sir. I feel that people just want a reason to be pissed off with the Glazers, regardless of what it is. Like, we don't need an excuse. My word. People don't want to be, I don't know how to describe it. There's just an incessant, or it's almost like an addiction to get updates now to immediate. That's just what the transfer window has sort of spawned into. And because I've worked, as I said, I've run the People's Person website as a full-time job since 2015, I think it was. Thereabouts. 2013. Around about 2013, 14, when Fergie retired. I ran that as a full-time job. So I covered the whole transfer window for years and years and years. And I've seen how it's developed and got more and more insane. And obviously now I do this full-time. So I'm involved in it, but from a video perspective. Let me go down and read a couple more of your comments. And then we'll head into the stories about Christian Eriksen. I'll bring you the bang up-to-date articles from the Times and the BBC on Christian Eriksen. Then we have a wider conversation about Ten Hag's demands. Because tell you what, man, he's got demands. And he's only just signed the contract. They've got to be met. I don't really think the City are going to be selling Sterling for 30 million. I think it looks like they want 100 million combined for Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling. So maybe they're going to probably be looking more in the region of 40 to 50 million. Akib, you're saying Sterling's the most overrated player, plays in a system and his finishing is worse than mine. And I don't think his finishing is worse than yours. I mean, maybe you're great at finishing. I don't think you are. Sterling, look, as I said, if we're having conversations about Anthony, how can you not have a conversation about Raheem Sterling? Even if it's not the right thing to do. You can't just completely overlook a player like that. Premier League proven. I'm not going to tell you what he's won there. Jeez. Let's go down here. Let's see what else you're saying. Dommy, you're saying, look, was it Dommy? Was it Dick? Was it Dominic? Like we said, I'm really tired of this. United always late to sign players. At the end, they will go for free agents. Look, I've told you, right? I might be wrong, okay? Brilliant. I might be wrong. I don't give a shit if I'm wrong, really. But I've got confidence that United will get, by the end of the summer, we will have done what we needed to do this summer. It's not going to have gone down exactly how we want it to. But like I said, at the point where you throw all the ingredients into the pot, when you're cooking something, it looks like shit. But then after, when it's slow cooked, blah, 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 and it comes out, it looks great at the end. That's what I think United's summer transfer window will be. It won't be good once you're in the middle of it. When you're in the eye of the storm, it seems like all hell is breaking loose. But once it's passed, I'm pretty damn confident we're going to have what we need at the end of this summer. Invest Talk saying that the Sky Sports aren't reporting it, man. As I said, this is coming from the Sun, and this is coming from fucking Sport Bible. Like, people, just think about it. Think about it. Why are you getting angry about that? Think about it. Chris, you're saying, Sam, I think we'll announce something positive this week in line with the Glazers taking out their dividends. Jeez, I will be speaking about that, my friend. Gary Neville, obviously doing a tweet yesterday. Gary Neville, man, I've got to get him on this show. I've got to get Gary Neville on at some point. I don't know whether he's somebody who stays away from it after maybe getting involved with the Arsenal Fan TV situation. Remember that back in the day? But I'd love to get Gary Neville on and have a really good chat about the Glazers. So go and tweet Gary Neville, tag United People's TV in it. I'd love to get him on the channel, and I'm going to keep trying. But look, let's talk about Christian Eriksen, right? This is what we know. I did a video yesterday. I thought it was a pretty decent video, if I do say so myself. And I took a look at the conversation about Christian Eriksen and about Frenkie de Jong. And I put those two, bearing in mind, this is a video that requires watching. I'm not here saying that Christian Eriksen and Frenkie de Jong would work in a midfield too. But at this moment in time, right? At this moment in time, these are the two midfielders that we've been linked with. And I'm saying, look, Christian Eriksen and Frenkie de Jong transform Manchester United's ability with the ball in possession. And in terms of Ten Hag's system, that's the fundamental. That's the big fundamental that we need. But that's not enough. That midfield there is still not enough. You can't throw Fred in there for Eriksen and expect that to be a midfield that's got balance. You can't throw McTominay there alongside de Jong and expect it to have any balance. James Garner, again, similar sort of situations. That there, Eriksen and de Jong would not be enough in itself to complete Manchester United's midfield. Both of them together, geez, we look so much better with the ball at our feet. But out of possession, we'd still have the same problems. That's what I think. So anyway, let's go down here and see what you're saying in the comments. Michael, you're saying, look, we need to get this second bid in for de Jong in today or tomorrow at least, so Ten Hag can get some sort of clarity when he comes back on Monday. Mate, it's less than a week. Imagine that. It's less than a week until he comes back to the club. And so far, there's no signings for him. Tony's sending in a super sticker. Big up to you, Tony. I don't know what super stickers are, but I'm sure they're great. Sterling, no CDM. Eriksen, no CDM. De Jong, not a CDM. Anthony, not a CDM. This team needs a CDM. And I'm glad that so many of you feel that as well. It kind of felt like for a couple of summers, because this is quite literally the third summer where I've been screaming for a CDM at Manchester United. Third summer. And it feels like everybody's reached that point now where it's just like, I mean, Jesus, we cannot go any longer without signing a CDM. Had we done that a little bit earlier, we wouldn't be in the position we are in. Well, I don't think so anyway. But at this moment in time, ladies and gents, all quiet on the Western Front as far as a hunt for a CDM goes, isn't it? Nothing on Sangare, nothing. Well, Boubacar Kamara's obviously gone. Tchouameni, well, we couldn't afford Tchouameni, and he was always going around Madrid. I'm sure there are others that I'm not mentioning here. Well, we should probably just go in and get Frank Kessie and swoop him from AC Milan, seeing as Barcelona can't register him yet. But let's talk about Christian Eriksen and the latest on him, because it's clear that Manchester United are going in for him. Lawsy, what you're saying down here, you're saying, look, I think if we sign Frenkie de Jong, Christian Eriksen, and Lautaro Martinez, I'm guessing you mean by that, I think we are okay. As a point that I raised in that video yesterday as well, I said, look, Lautaro Martinez, I know he's played centre-back for the last couple of years for Ajax, but he did actually operate as a CDM for an entire season. In 2019-20, I believe, was that the season after Frenkie de Jong left. Was that when he was brought in? I think so. So he has had experience there. It's an interesting one. Let's talk about Christian Eriksen. Let me run through the updates for you here for a couple of minutes, and then I'll head back down to the comments. But this is coming from, as I said, Gary Jacobs and Paul Hurst here from the Times. This is what they're saying. Not Neil Custis and the Sun, by the way. Just saying. Saying Christian Eriksen is mulling over an offer from Manchester United after Spurs distanced themselves from claims they are going to re-sign him. Understood that Spurs have not heard a thing from Eriksen's camp, and Brentford neither. So this is what we heard yesterday, and this is the exact same thing that we're hearing today. United have stepped in to offer Eriksen an opportunity to play at Old Trafford. One thing I didn't actually realise is that the pacemaker, is it a pacemaker he got fitted with? I think it was. There you go. An implantable cardioverter defibrillator. Yeah, that's a little bit of a bigger mouthful than a pacemaker. They're banned in Serie A. I didn't know that. So that's the reason why he couldn't play there. And that's the reason why he came to Brentford in January. But Christian Eriksen, type yes or no in the comments. I think maybe I asked this yesterday, but I'll ask it again today. Do you think that we'll sign him? Yes or no? Type it in the comments. I think Christian Eriksen is, let's be completely honest here. It's a player that we're looking at and going, we're probably signing him maybe 2 years after we wanted to sign him. I think around about 2019-ish. Was that when, just before he left Spurs, roughly? That was when I think we really kind of looked at him and went, that will be an incredible playmaker to bring into the club. So if we sign him now, it's a couple of years past where we probably would have wanted him in his peak. But still, I think Eriksen could come in and be a very, very good squad player for Manchester United. And this summer, it's all about both at the same time. Massively improving our starting 11, whilst at the same time improving our squad and bit by bit. That's what makes City and Liverpool such ridiculous teams. Klopp, what game was it? Like 3-4 games before the end of the season, and Klopp switched like 9 players out, and they still won the game. Imagine doing that at Manchester United. We switched 9 players out of our first 11. The first 11 is bad enough as it is. Sean, you were thinking, yeah, lots and lots and lots of you. I wonder if it's like unanimous down here. Steve, I wouldn't go anywhere near as far as to say that he is a pointless signing at all, because Eriksen can certainly operate a little bit deeper in a midfield too. He's not just purely a number 10. He can play number 10. He can play number 8. It can't play number 6 in itself on its own, but can play inside a midfield too. I'm not going to say he's a pointless signing at all. Not given that we've lost Mata, Pogba, and Matic, and we can't replace them all in one summer. Getting him on a free, it's smart business, but I told you, it's a supplementary signing. It's like you should do all your business and get Eriksen on top of it. And it's like, oh, that's good. That's a nice little, it's an extra bonus. That's what I would put it down as, but I wouldn't say he's a pointless one. Yes. Lots and lots of you are all saying yes. Handy, United are in a one-horse race for De Jong and Eriksen, but somehow losing. And one is free. Eriksen's just, you could say it's a one-horse race for Eriksen, but it's not the case. Eriksen's got offers, lots of offers, and he's just sitting there going, what would be the best thing for me to do? Not sure. Might take my time over it. He's not in a rush. He doesn't need to rush. But I think he'll choose United. I hope he'll choose United. I hope he'll be, ultimately, if you're looking at what he's choosing between, number 1, staying in London, family settled there, happy days. Brentford, it's not going to be a challenge. Brentford probably peaked last year. I don't think it's going to get any more exciting for him inside that Brentford situation. Number 2, go to Spurs. Unlikely he would be starting too much football out there. Of course, won the Serie A title with Conte at Inter. I think he ended up starting most of the games from February onwards after a bit of a rough ride at the beginning. Cool. Does he want to work with Conte again? Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But it will basically be a straight choice between Spurs and United. And it depends what he wants. As I said, if he wants that challenge, then United is obviously the challenge. United isn't the easy yes anymore. Joining the United previously was a rhetorical question. If United were in, you're going to United. Happy days. That's not the case anymore. We need to get that back. Miles, I would say congratulations, but I'm not going to say, look, congratulations, Miles, on getting married on Saturday. How did it go? I'm sure it went wonderfully well. And look, as you say, Sam, Eriksen's a good signing. Foundations in place. It's what we need, man. It's like getting the windows in before you put the walls up. That's probably what you would describe an Eriksen signing is. I'm sure he will be a good signing, man. But Eriksen does not change it doesn't move the needle for Manchester United. But as Jonathan goes down here, look, so you got Bruno, Eriksen, De Jong, Fred, Scott, McTominay, Garner, Hannibal. I'm looking similar. Fred, a little bit different, but pretty similar. Scott, a little bit different, but pretty similar. Garner, pretty similar. The profile of those midfielders, if you're going to draw a Venn diagram of midfielders, they're probably all going to be in one circle. And you're going to be like empty in the other two. And that's what it's all about balance. It's all about that balance. It's boring, but we need a Fabinho, a Rodri. Probably put Kante in there, but he's a bit on both. We need that midfield. I don't know how to describe him. Edson Alvarez is a player that kind of does that at Ajax. Not the best midfielder in the world. A little bit limited, but he knows his role. He's like a role midfielder. He knows exactly where he needs to be, and he doesn't particularly move from that. There's a few new names down here as members. It must be from Sigmund's generous giving of memberships. Big up to Sigmund. Everyone say thank you to Sigmund. What a bloke. Matt, you're saying, look, another new positivity in the chat. All here to support United people and United love. Hey, look, that's what I mean. You can really get caught up in the negativity if you want. And I could come here today and I could say it's all a shit show. X, Y, Z. But I'm still here with that feeling that we're going to be happy at the end of the summer transfer window. It's just that we're on the journey of it. And when other clubs are ahead of you in that cycle, because City have got everything in place, they're such a well-oiled machine. And then Haaland comes in, boom. And now they're going to be getting rid of Jesus. They're going to be getting rid of Sterling. They got rid of Gavin Bazunu for 15 million to Southampton, their goalkeeper. It just pisses you off, doesn't it? And as I said, like the stories from it's a perfect example of the hysteria of the transfer window, is that there are quite a few in the comments here going, what about this Anthony Dunn deal? What about this? The Anthony deal was not fucking closed, people. So I'm not going to report it to you because I'm not going to feed the hype. I'm going to try. Sometimes maybe I can get caught up in the hype a little bit as well. And I'm not innocent in any way, shape or form, but it just frustrates me when people do get caught up too much in that. And yet I really wish that I meant that. And I really wish it was such an intelligent little jibe at City, but they are a well-oiled machine. And I wish I was better than that. Damn it. Missed that one out. Haaland, I tell you what's making me, it is making me laugh quite a little bit. How many United fans are you seeing that are like, I'm not sure about Haaland. Not sure he's going to cut it in the Premier League. I'm like, guys, you say whatever you need to say. But we all know that Haaland is going to be an utter goal scoring machine next year. Hope he doesn't get injured, though. I should have brought Barry out there. I should have brought Barry out. Damn it. Sorry, Barry. Barry's having a little rest. I think Barry got overused. Need to make sure I bring him out at the right time. But Sterling for cheap. Maybe I'll do a video on Sterling. That would certainly cause an interesting conversation. As I said, I don't think that City would look at United and go, there's no chance we could sell to them. They would sell to, if they're going to sell to a Premier League rival, then we're all in the same category. Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, and United are all in the same bracket. Fuck, we were 34 points behind them last year. Jeez. Let's go over to see what the BBC are saying about the De Jong situation and the Eriksen situation. He's saying that Manchester United's move for Eriksen is unrelated to their continued efforts to sign De Jong, which we know by now. Remember when it first came out about De Jong and there was a suggestion? I remember the article when I went live that evening off the back of David Ornstein's article, and inside there was a bit of a hint that Eriksen could be an alternative to De Jong. And I was like, hold the front door. No chance. That can't be the truth. That cannot be the truth. And obviously, as it's transpired, that wasn't the truth. And the article got changed. Brett saying, look, no, am I going to judge a player off one performance for England? No, I am not. Raheem Sterling, you can say, I'd probably put him in a similar category to Rashford, but I'm going to say he's a far more rounded attacker than Marcus Rashford is. And that's what I think anyway. But look, as I said, if we're talking about 40 to 60 million euro conversation around Anthony, How can you not have a conversation about Raheem Sterling at the same time? I think so anyway. And again, you're talking about dumping, mate. Raheem Sterling is 27. Jeez. I have no idea how many times I say, but look, is that my thing? Is that my thing? Maybe not. But look, I just said it again. I didn't even mean that one. Go down here and it says, ideally, Ten Hag would like to get clarity over both De Jong and Eriksen before his non-international players return for the start of pre-season training next Monday. And that's something that we all know is absolutely true. So we've got 6 days. We're on a little countdown now. We're probably on a little countdown. After the Richard Arnold conversation that happened last week, which we all know, well, on Saturday, sorry, which is technically last week, I've done a full reaction to that. Now we need to see something. We heard from Richard Arnold, from the horse's mouth, the money is there for John Murto and for Erik Ten Hag, right? So let's see some action. Interested FC, Talks FC, Pondering FC, whatever FC you want to be. It's not about signings FC so far. We need to see action this week from United because time is starting to run out. It really is. 21st of June. Preseason begins on the 27th of June for those players who weren't away on international duty. So the likes of Sancho, Rashford, and I'm sure there's a whole host of other players. It won't be a full training ground, but it'll be a busy training ground for Erik Ten Hag, and he'll begin to work with his system, to work with Mitchell van der Gaag and Steve McLaren with the players who exist there. But we need new signings in. Frenkie de Jong is away on holiday, so he wouldn't even be joining in at this point in time. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't want those players to be done now. Let's have a look here. We've got Ice-T watching from Marne in the east of Paris. Let me know where you're watching from. You just told me. Nice to see you there, buddy. Joining all the way from Paris. Let me read a few more of your comments out here. Look, as I said, I'm not sitting here saying, Sterling, we should definitely go after Sterling. Sterling's going to transform everything at United this season. But I'm saying to you, if we're having conversations about a 40 to 60 million euro move for Antony, how can you not at least have a conversation about Raheem Sterling? And maybe it's because Erik Ten Hag, he knows what he knows in Antony. He knows what he's going to get. And if we're looking at somebody who plays on the right-hand side more, you're going to be looking more towards Antony than you are Sterling, who typically has worked on the left because Mahrez has gone on the right-hand side. I don't know. I think it would just be a conversation. Let's move on, though, all right? Let's move on before we get too caught up in this. But what I want to say at this point here, and you can see down there that I've said, look, De Jong and Eriksen, it's a start, but Erik Ten Hag is demanding more. And he is demanding more. Because remember, rewind to April, right? You know, when the whole Pochettino story was happening and Ten Hag, and I covered it as best as I possibly could on here. And that was tiring. That was exhausting. That was crazy. I remember that, those couple of months. But you remember all the conversations and the sort of delays that there were in Ten Hag getting the job in the first place and the reasons behind those. You go down here and he's saying, look, ESPN reported last week, ESPN, it was actually Mark Ogden and Rob Dawson, who I think were the first to go with the correct news that he had agreed a deal. ESPN reported last week that United was set to finalise the appointment, and Ten Hag has been keen to ensure he will be given the best chance of success and has raised questions during talks about the club's structure, recruitment process, and how much money will be available to strengthen the squad. And you'll remember, if I was to go over here and look at this video as well that we did, and this was on April the 11th, you can see down there. I'll say, look, Ten Hag is against the Glazers. He's demanding change at Man United or he won't sign that contract. And this was from David Ornstein, I think. He's saying, look, Ten Hag would want a range of assurances on areas such as his role, responsibilities, and authority stated clearly in the terms before formally accepting the position. So you'll remember that, as I said, we're a couple of months into Erik Ten Hag's tenure. I mean, not really, though, because he hasn't managed a game yet. But he's technically been Manchester United's manager for a couple of months. The only reason he signed that deal, the only reason he signed that contract is because he got terms added into it that gave him guarantees. And that for me, personally, is why I've got the confidence. I don't think United will financially... Imagine they backed out. If hypothetical situation here, of course, Erik Ten Hag's got those terms, everything's written down, United break that immediately, and Ten Hag then wants to rip the contract up, and United have got to pay him 5 years worth of compensation for going against what was written in the terms. That's why I've got confidence that Ten Hag will get what he needs to get this summer, right? I don't think it's going to be as quick and as straightforward as we all want it to be. But I think he will eventually get it at the end. And those demands, man, were made at the very beginning. And I think they're going to be met, man. As I said, I have every reason to believe they've been met. With all the changes that have gone on behind the scenes, it's just when it comes to transfers, John Murtough decided to take it upon himself. Whether that be from an egotistical point of view, whether that be from a power point of view, it's probably a bit of both. It's a bit of everything. We all knew it was a risk, and it's definitely going to be a part of this whole delay that's going on. Had we got someone else in that was just a pure expert in transfers, they would have been able to understand the subtleties and the nuances of transfers far more. John Murtough's been allowed to learn on the job in that sense. And it's probably part of the reason why it's being delayed. But I still think we'll get it all done. Estevo, you're saying Milinkovic-Savic's agent reckons United are interested 50 to 60, maybe. Do a video on him. Milinkovic-Savic, the rumours, they were there. Honestly, I was thinking about doing a video today, but I'm not sure I can be asked. I might do a video on every single player that's been linked with Manchester United so far this summer, because I think it's like over 90. Just to show people, this is why you're getting pissed off. There's 90 players. We're going to sign like probably 3 or 4. Although according to Samuel Luckhurst, look at that for a segue. Woof. Samuel Luckhurst here from the Manchester Evening News. He's saying that he is targeting 5 signings this transfer window. Right? I hope we get 5 signings. My gut tells me we probably won't. But I hope that Erik Ten Hag gets what he wants, gets everything he wants. Because I've never had more belief in a manager and what is going to come next than Erik Ten Hag. If I think back to David Moyes, I remember how I felt about David Moyes. I was there and I was like, it's David Moyes. I didn't really care that it was Fergie's recommendation. I still couldn't look at him and not think, that's David Moyes. Why is David Moyes Manchester United manager? Ultimately, we were all proven correct. Then Louis van Gaal came in next, and there was a little bit of excitement. I remember watching the World Cup. That was the World Cup where Netherlands finished 3rd, where Robin van Persie had that ridiculous flying header, and you had some excitement about that. But it still was nothing compared to how I'm feeling now. And then you got Jose Mourinho. And at the very beginning of it, everybody with Jose Mourinho, we were all just sitting there going, I hope Jose, you're just doing that. Come on, Jose, be different. Be different at United. Change at United. And he didn't. And we all know what happened there. And then Solskjaer came in. And it felt like that relief, that release of taking Mourinho's jacket off and going, I can breathe again. And it was brilliant to a certain degree. But did any of us have real confidence that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the man to really steer us back to the top? Or was he the man to try and douse the flames that Mourinho had lit? I'd say it was that. So now with Erik Ten Hag, we've got a system manager. And I can't wait for a couple of months of football where every single game we play the same formation, we play the same style, and we just start slowly getting better at it. That's going to be so fucking good to watch. Instead of 1 week playing 3-4-3, 1 week playing 4-4-2, 1 week playing 5-3-2, then switching to a 4-3-3, then going, shit, that's not working. Everybody come off. Everything going out the window. I'm just looking forward to seeing that in itself. Wazza. Not that Wazza. I think from next year onwards, things will be better as United are going through a full transition from board level to staff to manager. Let's hope so, man. This is what? Transition number, sod knows how many. I don't know many. Michael's saying, look, what sources can we trust as it gets frustrating? What sources what? Don't trust the Sun. There's your easy one to start off with. How anybody's coming here in the comments, as I said, I'm going to reiterate that. How anybody's coming here in the comments and getting angry that we're not talking about Anthony and it being a done deal. It's because it's fucking not a done deal. And I don't want to do that to you. If I was to do that to you, you would take that as more of a reason to think, oh, Anthony's getting done. Anthony's getting done. Anthony's getting done. And it's like, tomorrow it's not done. He goes, geez, why is Anthony not done yet? And then frustration will build up about Anthony not signing. It's because it's not happening at this moment in time, right? It's not happening at this moment in time. And when it comes to Anthony, when it comes to Ajax, this is quite a little interesting snippet from Mike Vivide from the Telegraph yesterday. He was asked about the futures of Martinez, Timber, Anthony, and Alvarez at the club, and he said, "Look, Alvarez, a departure at the right price is negotiable." So he's saying that Alvarez is the one player that Ajax would probably be okay with selling and negotiating with, but with the others, it's going to be a situation where, like Manchester United going after Jadon Sancho. When Manchester United went after Jadon Sancho, we went after him in a summer where Dortmund didn't want to sell him unless it was an offer they couldn't refuse. 130 million was it? I think that was the price for Jadon Sancho. We didn't pay it. We tried to negotiate. We didn't get it. So he's saying there, Mike Vivide, that Anthony is only going to be leaving. There is no negotiations over Anthony. They're just going to put a big price on him, and you either pay that price or he's not leaving this summer. And it's not too much of a surprise, given that they're losing, by the looks of it. They've rejected a 33 million offer for Haller from Dortmund. Looks like Haller's going to be leaving. Spoke about it yesterday. Haller is looking like he's going to be leaving. Tagliafico wants to leave. Ryan Gravenberch has already left. Mazraoui's already left. Ten Hag's already left. Jurrien Timber looks like he's staying. Martinez, he could be leaving. Then you've got Anthony conversations. Then you've got, geez, I do feel sorry for Ajax a little bit. I would I love Anthony? I think I'd like Anthony. I'd love midfielders far more than I would love Anthony. Phelan was throwing shade on Twitter yesterday. What was Phelan doing? I didn't actually see that. Or, yes, he has. Unfortunately, I've said this before, like, Fabrizio has such an incredible contacts book. It's amazing. I think people are starting to use him a little bit. And he speaks so often that you lose the power in your voice diminishes the more you speak. It's really weird, that, isn't it? But David Ornstein kind of reserves himself and goes in big when the big news breaks. Hopefully, we'll see a David Ornstein tweet. David Ornstein was the one who broke the Ralph Rangnick story. Remember that? Well, I think I was in a shop. I was 20 minutes away. I was legging it up to the car park, getting in the car, drove back like a maniac at speed. Didn't break the speed limit. Got back and I was like 20 minutes late and I was fuming to do the live stream. Michael, he said, "Look, so I'm an Ajax supporter. I don't feel sad. I'm excited to see how this will improve the youth and new players to get opportunities." Hey, look, it's a big thing about Ajax, man. It's such an unrivaled ability to be able to sell their players and renew from within as well. Dortmund, if they renew by signing other youngsters around Europe who are just incredible. And Jude Bellingham was the latest example of that. I'm sure they've got some other ones too. But Ajax just do it from within. The churn at Ajax is amazing. So good. It's like when De Jong left, everyone was thinking that can never be replaced. And then Ryan Gravenberch broke through. De Ligt left, everyone's thinking he can't be replaced. And then Timber broke through. Amazing. Absolutely amazing academy. It really, really is fantastic. I think United have got an incredible academy. But at Ajax, they're afforded a little bit more time to embed themselves in the first team. So that the chance to go from academy player to established Champions League footballer is probably higher at Ajax than it is at Manchester United. Simply because of the scale of the club and the pressures that come straight away and the pressures on managers as well. Let's go down here and see let me read a few more of your comments out here. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think it probably has got the best. Sam, genuine question. When do we go from the acceptance of the need for a 3-year rebuild, focusing on young diamonds in the rough, to being transfer whores again? Whores, demanding the world instantly. It's what happens when you get caught up in the transfer madness. When you see City signing Haaland, when you see Liverpool signing Nunez, you kind of forget the context of where you're in. You go, well, fuck me. They've got that burger, mum. I want that burger too. I don't care. I want that burger. I don't care if it's 40 quid. I want that burger. That's what it feels like. Like kids like looking at it and going, no, I want it. I want that now. And we all do want it now, right? Let's not allude to anything different. We all do want it now. We all want United to be back up there at the top table right now. But it probably just won't happen. Peter, I think absolutely yes. Look, let's see. I probably can't say that with any real confidence yet because I don't know what our team is. And I haven't seen what we've done at the start of the season. But I think Erik Ten Hag he won't be vocalizing that. He won't be coming out and saying, look, we need to finish top 4 this season. He'll be downplaying it in the public. He'll be saying, look, we just need to get this system built, X, Y, Z. But I think we'll get top 4 next season. That's what I think so anyway. What's the next talking point I've got down here? Of course, this is another one that came yesterday. And, a deal is close. A deal is close. We're going to sign Raum. There you go. Who's Raum? Yeah, that's what I thought as well. This is coming from Sky Germany, saying that Manchester United want Raum. Talks about the defender have taken place, 30 to 35 million euros. Who is Raum? Raum is a left-back who plays for Hoffenheim. Actually joined on a free transfer last summer. So they're going to get a bumper little profit on him if he was to be bought there. But David Raum, I'll be completely honest, I don't think there's any chance that we sign a left-back this summer. I think there are just too many priorities. And also we've got Shaw, who, if we're looking at players who are going to improve and find their form again, I'm putting Shaw in the same category as I'm probably putting Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. Shaw's got 1 more year, and maybe we've said that before, but Shaw, prior to the Euros, superb. Last year, disappeared off the face of the earth. A bit like Harry Maguire. I think Luke Shaw will get an opportunity to improve, and we've got Alvaro Fernandez coming there behind him. No, probably not coming behind him. Bad choice of words. But Alvaro Fernandez will be there, hungry for his own opportunity. I think if we're looking at left back, it's not a place where we're going to be spending 30 to 40 million euros on people. So that deal's not close either. Maybe it is. Maybe, well, it's not. It really isn't. Let me go down here. Zexel, I can see Brandon Williams should be our left back. I saw reports yesterday, not massively established reports, but that Brandon Williams has been told that he can leave Manchester United because we can't guarantee him first team football. We want him to stay at the club. We want him to fight for his place. But if he wants first team football, that guarantee of it, he has to leave the club. That's what he's been told. Edson Fernandez. No, I think you mean Enzo Fernandez. I think he's been linked to Wolves at the moment. Bruno created more chances than Bruno. You know what I think about Bruno, man. I think people have gone way over top with Bruno, simply because of the levels that he set in the first year. And it's for a similar reason. That's why so many people had so much scorn towards Paul Pogba, because when you know a player is that good, your anger towards seeing him play bang average is going to be far more than towards Scott McTominay, for example, because you know the ceiling of Pogba is so much higher, the expectations of that player are so much higher. The anger towards him is going to be more intense because the gap between what you're watching and where it is much, much wider. Bjorna, who else remembers when Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News randomly said that Sander Berge was spotted going into Manchester United's training ground and he was probably going to sign? Then he didn't. And I think he signed for Sheffield United. He was like, oh, no, sorry, guys. That wasn't Sander Berge. That was someone else. I remember that. And that, again, because of the incessant desire for news and updates, he went there and he's big swing and a miss. Big swing and a miss. Ajay saying, good job, buddy. Love your show. Thank you very much, dude. Anybody else who's here, please drop a like on the video. It does help. It really helps the community grow. Hey, look, if you want to become a subscriber, I'd love to have you on board. And if you want to as well, become a member. Join the member community on Telegram. I love that community, man. The community is really, really growing. Day on day, week on week, it's getting bigger and better and more inclusive. So I think it's a great place. I think so anyway. But look, head on to the final point here. It's Tuesday, the 21st of June. We're all waiting for transfers this week, but there's a big thing that's happening this week, which was highlighted by Gary Neville yesterday on Twitter. The Glazer family should not be taking an £11 million dividend on Friday. It isn't right with the investment needed in the team, the stadium, and the training ground. The club's cash position is low compared to previous years. An announcement is needed to halt it for the next 3 years minimum. Add a zero onto the end of that, Gary, and you might be right, but he is right. And this has been such a massive gripe of United fans with the Glazers for so long. They've been taking money out of the club. And so this year, I think the Glazers are taking out £33 million from the club. because there's 10 million of that was delayed over COVID. So they're now taking that extra 10 million on top of the 20 they're already taking. So 30 million pounds, 30 million is leaving the club this year simply to go in the back pockets of the Glazers. Nowhere else. It's simply to go and buy them a house or two. 30 million pounds. That's a signing right there. Right there. There is a signing from the dividends of this year alone. The Glazers, man, they're fucking leeches. They are stuck on there. They are blood-sucking leeches. And it's why fans organised to go and protest outside Richard Arnold's house. Was that the right thing to do, to go and protest outside someone's house when his family was in it? Maybe not. But when you've got a faceless entity like the Glazers who just disappear in Tampa Bay and you can't find them, who are you going to go for? You're going to go for their general. And their general is Richard Arnold. That's why they were going to protest outside his house. If the Glazers had a house here, they would go nowhere near Richard Arnold's house. It would all happen outside the Glazers' house. But because they hide away, there's nowhere else to go. They shouldn't be taking a dividend. I'll probably be doing, maybe I'll do a video on that today. I don't know what my video today will be at lunchtime. But I did the video yesterday on De Jong and Eriksen. If anybody has any ideas, my DMs are always open. If you fire over a good idea, there's no reason why I wouldn't do it. So make sure that you do send over your suggestions if you do want to see me do some videos that I'm not doing at the moment. But last few minutes of the show today, as I always do, I'll answer some of your questions. So fire your questions in the comments, and I'll try and read a few of them out. The anti-Glazer protests in the past cost us a tour. Yeah, was that the, what was it? Sunglass Hut? No, it wasn't Sunglass Hut. I can't remember what it was. It was like a media thing. Apparently they were going to take over the kit deal, but then that went down. Can we just get them out? They're potion or poison? I reckon they're probably more poison. Love United, but hate the Glazers. And love the channel. Big up to you, Ashley. Then we go down here and read. 30 million is nothing really, to be fair. We're wasting more than that. 30 million could get us a decent... 30 million could get us Ibrahim Sangare. Well, thereabouts. 37 million euros is his release clause. 30 million, boom, go and sign him. Vitinha from Porto that we were linked with last week. Looks like he's going PSG. 40 million euros release clause. 30 million, thereabouts. 30 million could definitely do something this summer, that's for sure. Gungshi, I'm in my car listening. I thought I'd go ahead and send a super chat anyway. It's what Barry would do. Thank you very much, Gungshi. Driving along, enjoying yourself, typing as well. Don't be doing that, my friend. Nishan, how about we do a video on how much Erik Ten Hag has used the CDM in Ajax in the last 3 to 4 seasons? That's a good one. As I said, anybody, there's no point firing in your suggestions here as a comment because there's going to be so many comments through. I'm just going to forget it. So you have to send it to me on Twitter at United People's TV or Instagram at United People's TV. Slide into a DMs there. Yeah, hell yeah, I trust Erik Ten Hag. Could you? Why wouldn't I trust him? I think what he's done at Ajax, he built a team twice. It's the hardest thing to do in football, and to be able to renew that is brilliant. And he coached that. He made talented youngsters into established top-level professionals. And that's a sign of a very, very good coach. I absolutely trust him to come and do a job here. Lee, you're talking about final left-back Malacia. I mean, as I said, if I was to go through and do a video today on every player we've been linked with, you'd be like, Jesus, this is a joke. This really is a joke. But that's what it is with Manchester United in the transfer window. Why did everyone go mental at the podmentary? I watched it and didn't think it was that bad, if I'm honest. It was basically the quote where he said that the 300 grand offer from United was nothing. What are you talking about? How is that nothing? I think that grab quote has been taken and used. But Paul Popper knew what he was doing when he made this documentary. He's just made a documentary having failed at United for years because he wants to move to a new club and still keep himself in the conversation. What's the way of doing that? Make a documentary. That'll put you back into the talking points of every other club. Garnacho back up to Ronaldo. I don't think we'll be seeing Garnacho as a backup to Ronaldo, but I think Garnacho will get plenty of game time this season. Wan-Bissaka at CDM. I'm going to put that in the same category as Victor Lindelof as CDM. Let's not do square pegs, round holes, people. I know you're trying to. It's like you're deep into a FIFA career mode and you're just having some mad injury crisis. So you're like, fuck it. Put Wan-Bissaka as CDM. See if that works. You don't sign a 50 million right back, see that he's not good enough for right back, and then play him at CDM. Do you know how hard that position is? You're in the middle of everything. Your head has to be like spinning. You have to permanently be at... Go and watch Paul Scholes highlights and just look at his neck. He's permanently doing this. The vision required for that role in the middle of the park is so difficult and completely different to right back. So just because someone's an okay right back, it's good enough. Let me go down here and read a couple more of your comments. There you get... I haven't actually played FIFA in a long time. This would be sad, but literally the last copy of FIFA I've got is FIFA 19. That's how little... I used to play it all the goddamn time. All the time. I miss it. I prefer PES, though. PES 6 was the pinnacle. PES 6 Master League. PES 3, 4, and 6. Probably my favourite ever football games. Alba watching from Romania. How you doing there, buddy? Are we still going to sign Anthony? I mean, we're in for Anthony, but no deal is close. And don't let anybody else tell you otherwise, because it's just not true. Look, I'll wrap this up for today. I enjoyed that little conversation. I like answering your questions at the end of the show. But please, if you would, I'll say this one more time. If you haven't already followed the podcast, please go over and follow it. You can follow it on Spotify, on Apple, on Google. Leave a 5-star review. It makes such a big difference. It helps us climb the charts and shows those platforms that people are enjoying the podcast. We go in have a really in-depth chat about Richard Arnold, about the Glazers, about supporters groups, and how do you unite them all, about the changing fan culture at Manchester United. It's a good podcast, man. And we talk about transfers. We don't go too hard on the transfers because we talk about transfers every day here. You hear transfers everywhere at the moment. So it's nice to be able to talk about something else. Manchester United, I think so anyway. And it's an important topic, I think so as well. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining in today. I enjoyed that combo. Hopefully at some point here, I better be here after we've agreed a deal with someone. Otherwise, I'm going to be really pissed off come the start of next Monday. If we go into next Monday with Erik Ten Hag coming in and starting pre-season, we haven't agreed a deal for anyone, it'd be a bad way to start his proper reign as Manchester United manager, wouldn't it? But look, thank you all for joining in. Make sure you check my video out at lunchtime. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 9:33. If you all the OGs know, it's 9:33. So if I'm not here before 9:33, I'm not late. It's the exact same time every day. Take it easy, everyone.